Netflix recently, they haven't started the password sharing stuff yet. They've rolled that out in certain places that are apparently a lot less fortunate than us here in the U.S. where they wait on stuff like that. But Netflix isn't known for being the most fiscally responsible with their spending. I think that's fair to say. Would you say that's fair to say?
It's confusing because Netflix is weirdly frugal about some things, meaning, you know, if a show doesn't get like 1 billion people to watch the full thing, the full first season in like 48 hours, they'll cancel it. Yeah. But then they'll allocate $130 million to a new movie.
So this is a movie called Paramount. It is a Nancy Meyer movie. Nancy Meyer is a prolific director and writer in Hollywood, so there is something to be said there. We're talking
what else is she known for?
Father of the Bride, The Holiday, Something's Gotta Give, all very, very big productions. And she is prolific in writing. She's prolific in directing. She hasn't directed anything since like 2015 or something like that. So she's been on a hiatus of sorts. And this movie is going to have Scarlett Johansson. And then they're also rumored as Penelope Cruz, Michael Fassbender, and Owen Wilson, which is like, you know, that's prime rom-com territory. So they're making a rom-com, ladies and gentlemen, and it is going to cost them $130 million.
Okay, some people were reacting in the chat saying that sounds like a pittance for any random movie budget, but for rom-coms in particular, I guess they are just such a niche relative to, you know, a superhero movie or an action movie.
They made the My Big Fat Greek Wedding for $5 million, and it made $368 million.
That's like basically the same price as a Big Fat Greek Wedding in real life.
For inflation, that's like 8.3 million, and then it's like 612 million. But here's the thing. It's not as far-fetched as you think, because one of her biggest movies, at least the one that I remembered the most vividly, given that I'm not a romantic comedy guy, is The Holiday. I think everyone's seen The Holiday. That cost $85 million to make, and adjusted for inflation, that's $128 million. So it's right in line with what she was paid, what she spent to make The Holiday. And I think The Holiday made $205 million. So adjusted for inflation, that's like what, 310 or something like that?
Okay.
So when you think about it.
It says that Nancy Meyer's CAA team went back to Netflix and claimed it would be hard to make the movie for less than $150 million.
We're going to need 150.
Is it in space?
Yeah, and it's not sci-fi. They make a point of pointing that out. This, if anything, this is considered semi-autobiographical to the author, Nancy Meyer. So this is not My Big Fat Greek Wedding in Space. This is not...
this is like The Fabelmans, Nancy Meyer's edition.
Yeah. The other thing I was thinking of was not just that, but there was The Lost City last year. That did really well, and some would consider that, you know, it's not a romantic comedy, but it's a romantic action movie in a way, the one with Channing Tatum and Sandra Bullock, and that one cost like $68 million to make.
Well, maybe, you know, you could say this is an irresponsible decision on the part of Netflix, but we do crazy things for love, and
that's true.
This could be a sign that the tide is changing, and people are... There is like an untapped demand for
watch it end up being like
romantic movies.
No, watch it like they're gonna Uno reverse you at the end. It's gonna be like both couples are gay. It's gonna be ScarJo and Penelope Cruz.
Well, they are adding some like
Wilson.
Cynical aspects to rom-coms in recent years. Like, of course, Bros is a very like self-referential, woke, kind of hypersexualized version of a rom-com. Yeah, and that's part of the reason why I think it wasn't very successful. Yeah, but another one is actually I think it is yet to come out, but it has Julia Roberts and George Clooney in it. They play a divorced couple that is traveling across the world to prevent their daughter from hastily getting married to a guy that they think is like not trustworthy. I don't really know the whole story.
That's kind of cute.
But then they end up falling back in love or something.
Oh, that's adorable. See, I'm okay with this.
So it's like a modern twist that's like acknowledging the ways that romance has kind of died, but at the same time providing some like avenue of hope.
Yeah.
Especially because honestly, being divorced now is something that's sadly sort of relatable to the average like adult moviegoer.
Yeah.
Oh, like most of them, maybe half are divorced.
Oh yeah, if not more.
If not, never married.
And in that, well, yeah, I would say divorced.
Never married
like,
and broken up, but still co-parents or something like that. Like, people relate to that, which is sad, but there's also like a way that you can come out of that with in a positive light, you know?
If someone asked you to make a romantic comedy, what would you make it about?
Oh gosh. I'm too cynical to make a feel-good, wholesome movie. Am I not, you know?
Yeah,
I have to sit down and think about that.
I bet you have it in you. I bet you have it in you. I bet you could. You're a girl. Like, you could do it.
I mean, I feel like the dystopian rom-com of the 2020s is like a guy who, you know, starts dating some like OF girl or like a Twitch streamer girl and like believes that he can save her and he can fix her. It's like Pretty Woman, but she's an online like titty streamer / like e-prostitute. And
it's like a reverse of the girls who like want to date.
Successfully convinces her that like he will take care of all her needs and she doesn't need to sell her body online anymore.
And
which would never happen, of course. But rom-coms are pie in the sky fantasies.
And she has a brother that's in prison who is dating a girl who thinks that she can save him from a life of crime. That's the classic version of that story.
Well, yeah, usually women want to like save the guy.
Yeah.
Not save him. I guess just like
change him
or like. What women want is
guys want to save
be
the girls.
The only person who sees this like rough criminal as like his softest, most vulnerable version of himself, right?
Yeah.
Even if he's not a criminal, if he's just like some kind of like damaged, bad boy,
yeah.
Right? So that would appeal to their
all the stop signs in their local town.
Their psychological fixations, but like. Guys have the same thing too. They date girls who are, you know, on OF all the time, thinking I'm going to save her, I'm going to change her. Like probably Riley Reid's ex.
They're not just doing that because the girl is sufficiently good in bed. You'd think
or Mia Khalifa's ex-husband did.
You know.
Like that's something that people can relate to. Being divorced or being, you know, broken up, co-parents is something people, unfortunately, these days can relate to on a big scale.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to see like a switch in the way that rom-coms are written, I guess.
Yeah, like we talked about it like last week with Hannah Claire where I kind of said rom-coms will never be a thing again because this country can't figure out what the hell it wants out of sexuality and relationships. But maybe the idea is that in 20 years things calm down and as the social dynamics here in America change, the concept of what makes a romantic comedy will change.
Yeah.
And you'll end up, it'll be about a boy and a girl matching on Tinder, but they live next door to each other. And oh my God, you were next door to me all along.
It's hard to believe that they can do that right.
I know.
In this day and age. And are they even going to be making rom-coms about young people anymore? Like actually young people?
Isn't that kind of what they do on Netflix with like the what are those
oh yeah, the kissing booth.
The kissing booth ones where like I've never seen them, but I know
I haven't seen that.
There's
either.
like 4 of them. Like,
yeah,
can you believe that?
It was
4?
pretty popular.
Those are like, and I think is that where the curly hair style came from? Like
the perm?
Didn't that kid
I
have
don't
that?
know. I never saw the kid, but I know Joey King is in it, and she's great.
Somebody says trans boy and girl fall in love.
No, no. Oh my gosh, please. No.
I went down a rabbit hole earlier, like yesterday. I got into my own little bit of trouble where I was reading some just absolutely just psychotic comments from people on something of that nature where someone's like, if you don't want to date a trans person, it's your job to tell them. It's not their job to tell you that they're trans. It's your job to tell them that you're not interested in dating a trans person because telling someone that they're trans opens them up to violence. And this dude, for like 100 comments, was talking about how it's not the trans person's responsibility to tell you that they're trans.
Imagine you're on a date with a biological female who is not trans, and you just out of the blue make this comment that's like, yeah, I'm not really interested in dating a trans woman.
That's what they were saying.
And she is like, are you implying that I look like I'm biologically male? Like,
that's exactly what they were saying.
Of course, pours hot coffee on you and walks out like any normal woman should.
And it reminded, like, somebody pointed out, they're like, look, what if even if you don't have a problem with it, what if the person wants kids? Like if you can't give them kids, isn't
See,
that the whole
all
point
of these
dating?
like
It's
postmodern confusions are
ruins it.
going to poison making films about love.
Absolutely. No, it's already poisoned.
Yeah, because like dating culture and marriage and relationships and situationships and all of this insanity, it's like ruined anyone's ability to suspend disbelief. Yeah. And that's what you need to do to like watch any movie. And
a lot of it is the simplicity of it. Like there's a lot of simplicity to the story. For all the twists and turns, it comes back to a very simple idea of two people overcoming challenges and falling in love. And you can't do that anymore. First of all, we are in a cynical age, and you talk a lot about nihilism from your generation, right? I think my generation is cynical and your generation is a little bit nihilistic.
I mean, what are you going to do? Make rom-coms about your self-love and your development of your relationship with yourself?
Basically, yeah, that's what they want. I mean,
you can say that that's what people want to see, but it's just not true, and you can't force it to happen.
Movies require people to interact with one another, and a story about self-love is inherently soloist, right? So it's more about how that person interacts with themselves, and you can't have a movie where it's just them talking to themselves the whole time. So it has to be how they interact with the people around them. And that's not what people really want. One of the things that I love about movies and television shows, and this is something that I've come to kind of understand recently, is a lot of writing, and why movies are not reality more than anything is that when a writer writes a scene where two people interact and they have some great dialogue, what they're writing is what they would always wish could have been said, not what actually gets said in the real world.
Which is why when you're watching it, you can't be over-analyzing what they're saying the whole time.
But
like, they would never say that.
But
or like, she would never swoon at that line that you just delivered, you know?
But it's
about the fantasy, and you have to be able to suspend disbelief. And like, the cynical emptiness of modern dating is kind of degrading our ability to do that. Another thing is like, the dominant feminist narrative we're living in right now is that all women know exactly what they want, and usually it's to be alone. And that's not true.
To make their money.
Get your bag and to dump him and to not commit. And that's just, I mean, maybe that's representative of, you know, multimillionaire Megan Thee Stallion. That's not what normal women want.
Even then they end up having kids.
Usually,
They just like, one of the biggest things that annoys me about celebrities is I don't need anybody, I don't need this or narrative, or even you don't need to look feminine, you don't need to look beautiful, and then they show up on the red carpet in a skin-tight dress looking absurdly feminine. They say one thing and they do another all the time. All of these people do that in Hollywood. I would love a good classic love story. It doesn't even have to be classic. I'm talking like we could do.
It can be realistic.
Yeah, like
we can make it modern.
Or even what was the one where he pictures her as beautiful, but she's actually fat. I forget that.
Oh, who did that have in it? Like Amy Adams or
no?
Was it somebody else?
Amy Schumer? Was it?
No, it wasn't Amy.
Amy Adams is tiny. Oh, maybe Amy Adams played the tiny person role on, but
I do remember the one you're talking about.
Yeah, like that's something we need more. Like that's not inherently like classic, but it's still adorable. Like that look, not another teen movie. The Girl Next Door is one of my favorite movies of all time. That's absolutely a romantic comedy. It's a coming of age story and a romantic comedy in a lot of ways. The Holiday was good, and The Holiday is the movie. Nancy Meyer made The Holiday. And the other thing about this is that a lot of the money, if they do end up getting Shallow Hal, thank you. That was with Jack Black. That's who was in that movie. Jack Black was. Thank you, chat. But like, if they're gonna have ScarJo and they're gonna have Penelope Cruz and Michael Fassbender and Owen Wilson, like that's your budget right there. Like all of those actors command huge salaries, so you're gonna be putting a lot of money towards them. But
if you're gonna draw the classics like Jennifer Lopez or Reese Witherspoon,
Gwyneth
or
Paltrow,
Julia Roberts,
they mentioned she was in Shallow Hal. She was in Shallow Hal.
You're gonna have to be spending more money, and people are gonna. I think like if you do this well, people will watch.
They can call it Live, Laugh, Love.
There is a genuine desire for this. I just don't know if the writers in Hollywood are even mentally capable. Like they're so.
You'd have to hire people from outside Hollywood,
right? Like they're so demented that they can't just figure it out. Like it's a very simple task, and they're just like,
get ChatGPT. Just get an AI. An AI could probably write it better than Hollywood at this point.
Yeah, honestly.
If you limit the parameters, I bet you an AI could write a better version of this.
I mean,
than...
have you watched Bridget Jones's Diary?
Yes. At least I did a long time ago.
That movie and those books, and it's like actually about a woman grappling with getting older and being a prospective single spinster with cats and wine and all of the rest of the dressings of that, and disliking her life, but also not knowing what she wants. Okay, maybe? Like you need to have this element of a rom-com, usually I think, where a woman is told what she wants. Yeah. She doesn't know what she wants, right? Like that's accurate to reality. A lot of women don't know what they want.
Maybe the idea is that like it takes time for trends to change, and we're just going to have to wait out the sad day when all the chickens come home to roost for all the women who are kind of being led down the path of get your bag queen, you're going to be happy with your 20 set. Like I would love to meet the big cat industrial complex that has been pushing most of this, that and big wine. Big cat and big wine, which have been pushing these narratives for a very long time. And eventually one day...
Is it true that they're like boxed wine companies and cat litter companies are getting more investment now?
Probably. I mean, I remember there was a...
I heard that, but I don't know if it's true.
There was a study a long time ago that said like they were able to like double the sales of both beer and diapers by putting them together in stores, because wives would send their husbands out to get diapers, so the husband would see the beer next to the diapers and buy both. So maybe the idea is that you put the boxed wine next to the kitty litter and just boom, money, 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 money for everyone. Like, let's go. In fact, me and you should start we should start a boxed wine company that sells them together.
What would we call it?
What would you call it?
You can just call it Spinster. It's simple.
Wine and litter. Yeah, Spinster's Wine and Litter. That would be the name of our store, and we would be millionaires very, very many times over. I just think that there's going to be a time where eventually what will happen is a very good writer will have gone through all this and will have a good take on it and will manage to get that movie made, and maybe that changes things for the better down the line. They would just have to be able to not lie to themselves about how they feel about it. And it would require kind of the perfect storm of like the right actors, the right studio would have to approve the project, and it'll take time to get made. Will people even see it if it comes out on streaming? Who knows? But I'm down. I'm down to give this a shot. And maybe by then, Scarlett Johansson will be able to play that character because she'll be older when that comes out.
Yeah.
That's what it would be. So... and she's already starting to complain about how she was sexualized when she was younger. So she's already getting into the to the bitter stage, and she's like my age. She's already bitter.
I hope she's not. I hope that was just like the media manipulating things mostly.
We can hope for the best. Also, I love that like on the picture of this, like whenever they're like whenever they talk about these things, and she's like, I don't like it when people sexualize me, and then I'm like, well, you know that. It's fine.
You mentioned like the way that all of these actresses look on red carpets is totally the opposite of like what they claim.
At least the ones in my age range. The younger ones are kind of
depends.
Like Bella Ramsey's not coming down the aisle trying to look hot. Bella Ramsey's coming down the aisle
dressed like a guy. But if you still identify as a woman.
Yeah, okay, fair point.
You're going on the red carpet styled to the nines with the makeup and the hair done and all of that stuff. Looking very, of course, like stereotypically feminine. Yeah. Which is fine. I'm just thinking about like the way that rom-coms, they like romanticize the way that, you know, a man will see a woman without makeup on in her like natural state. Yeah. Not when she's like glammed up like that. Yeah.
Well, that's how she knew he loved her. Mary.
Right.
That's how she knew.
Right.
Because he and rap songs have even pushed that narrative, like with no makeup on. The other thing that's funny is, okay, so I was watching Elementary, which was a version of Sherlock Holmes on on ABC or CBS. Johnny Lee Miller and Lucy Liu. And Lucy Liu plays Watson in that show. And for the first 4 seasons, she's dressed in this unbelievably cool and unique way that's very feminine. Like, she's very much a girl. She wears unique dresses, unique outfits. And then from like season 5 on, they started putting her in like pantsuits with like tops like buttoned all the way to the top with ties. It was like they were going out of their way to make her masculine. And that
weird.
Bothered me because Lucy Liu is a beautiful lady. There was no need to do that.
And where does that come from? Like, who on their creative team decided that she needed to start presenting as more masculine? And
yeah, there was even a point like where like she's interviewing like a gay man who runs like a clothing boutique, and he goes, "Who dresses you, girl?" And she goes, "I dress myself." The point was that she was a classy, like, creative dresser. And then for some reason in season 5, she just starts to dress like a dude. And it makes no sense.
Yeah.
I hate that. Like, first of all, it's not realistic to the character that the entirety of your dress would just change that drastically overnight. Mm-hmm. But also it feels like it has an agenda behind it.
Well, now, like, when Bella Ramsey, who identifies as non-binary, which we know is BS, is starting out as a character who is female, you're still presenting as gender neutral, despite that not being part of the character you're playing. So what is more important? How comfortable you feel?
Ask
or
Elliot Page.
Doing an accurate representation. Like, Elliot Page, of course, they catered to, like this gender transition by transitioning the character that Page was playing on the Umbrella Academy.
Yep. I hate that.
Which
means they have no respect for the character.
Of course.
Yeah. Oh, also this, so Karen Meyer Nancy Meyer, not Karen Meyer, made The Parent Trap. She also made The Parent, she made The Parent Trap, The Holiday, Something's Got to Give, Father of the Bride. She's got the pedigree to ask for that much money. It's just insane that in this day and age.
Why go straight to streaming then if you want?
I have no idea. That makes
budget.
Because Netflix is like, money doesn't matter. We don't care. We will give you the money. We're going to keep making it anyways. By the way, Netflix has been garbage the last week. I don't know if it's been my internet, but the UI has been extremely slow and not running properly, because that's what I've been watching Into the Badlands on.
Okay.
And it's like, I'll hit pause, and you wait like 7 seconds, and it finally pauses. And then you do the thing where you hit the button like 5 times, and then...
It's probably the internet here.
But it's not... But then I would go to watch something on another streaming service, and nothing would be lagging like that. So that doesn't make any sense.
They're doing tests on you.
Dude, I'm telling you,
what they do.
Instagram does that on Sundays. My timeline...
Or you're just schizophrenic. Who knows?
That's completely plausible. It's completely plausible. Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.